Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that.
Hello and welcome to Roller Coasting with me, your host, Megano. Happy Thursday and happy basically Christmas. So when this goes out, it'll be, I believe, the 19th, which means it is 6 days to Christmas. This year Christmas has came around so fast. Like I have not, and it actually kills me, but I have not felt that festive. And I am not a Grinch by any means. Grinch, however, is my favourite Christmas movie. That and Elf, obviously, classic. But I've just not felt that festive this year. I think the problem is the year has went too fast. Like currently, as I am recording, it is a Friday. And I can't fathom how it is Friday. It feels like it should be Wednesday in my head. So I think the problem is time has gone too fast for me to feel fully festive this year, which is really sad. But I'm gonna really throw myself into the deep end the next 2 weeks before Christmas is here. I have had some Christmas nights out. Got a wee catch up. So I went to London on Sunday. All the trains from Glasgow were cancelled. Nightmare. I had to get myself to Edinburgh and then from Edinburgh to London. But the train from Edinburgh to London, it was so bougie and fancy. I mean, if you can travel from Edinburgh instead of travelling from Glasgow, do that. Because the Transpennine Express, as much as I love it and heavily rely on it these days, it's always roasting. Like it literally blows hot air from the feet up and it low-key smells. The toilets, I actually got a train home from Manchester yesterday and there must have been some sort of football or some sporting activity that involves lots of drunk men. So the train was full of drunk men. I went to 3 different toilets and I had to I could only use the last one because the pans are covered in these drunk men's piss all over the place. Disgusting. You wouldn't have got that on this train I went to from Edinburgh to London, and I don't know what the brand was or anything, but big up them. Alan from I'm a Celeb. I've always done that. But yes, I went to London. I went for a work event. I say work event, but really it's just a night out. Like you get to go to this bougie night out for free, essentially. And it was a lot of fun. I got really drunk. In a good way. I have really turned a new leaf. Basically, we were getting these drinks and we had margaritas like all night. And we were like, we're all compos mentis so far. And the event was drawn to a close. And we said to the barman, make us the strongest margarita you can. And that was it. We went flying. We were sent flying. And afterwards we went to a club in London. And clubbing in London is so different to like clubbing in Glasgow. I mean, I've not been a huge amount of times to compare them, but whenever I go, it's very like the girls are all very like, you know, sitting on the booths and like looking very put together. You know, they'll do the odd little dance. Me, you know, me in London clubs, I don't know how well we gel. I was busting some moves. I'll actually attach a video because Abigail took one. Like bougie London club and I'm pulling moves like this. Sorry if you're an audio only listener. I suggest you to hop onto YouTube to see exactly what I'm talking about. But you know what? I'm having fun. And that's all that matters. And then we got wee McDonald's, went home, had a good night's sleep. And then the next day I got up in London and then went to Manchester to stay with Callum for a few days. The next day I went to a literal Barry's class with that hangover. I mean, we'd been out till, 3 in the morning or something, drank lots of tequila, and I went to a Barry's class. And Barry's classes, if you've not seen them before, are the most humbling, difficult workout classes I have ever stepped foot in. But I done it. And it was great. When I went and stayed at Callum's, it was weekdays. I went on a Monday and I left yesterday, which was Thursday. So we didn't do anything wild, you know, we just chilled. We went to the gym, we ate good, we done work, and we watched some Christmas films. We watched, what did we watch? We watched Love Actually and we watched another one and I can't even remember. I have it is terrifying. My short-term memory is horrifically bad, but my long-term memory is crazy. Like my memories from when I was a wee girl is wild. Speaking of Christmas, I remember when I was literally a child, we were in our old house, so I must have been really small, and we had the conservatory, and I remember on Christmas Day we went down and opened our presents that were in the living room, and I was like, oh my god, I have so many Care Bears and baby Annabelles and whatever. And then my mum and dad were like, going to the conservatory. I think Santa's been there, and I was like, oh, ran to the conservatory, opened the doors, and I've got this big Winnie the Pooh desk. This Winnie the Pooh desk, like his belly, Winnie the Pooh's belly was the actual desk. Even better, you lift his belly, and it's storage for all your pencils and your rubbers and your stationery and whatnot. Like, why can I remember that, but I can't remember what Christmas film I watched the other night? Beats me. I'm going to have a sip. Scottish tap water. You don't get that anywhere else, obviously not because it's Scottish. But when I'm in England, I really do notice that you just don't have the same tap water. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh, it is obviously almost Christmas, and Christmas nights out are all a go with your friends, with work, whoever it is you're going on your Christmas nights out with. They're all happening right now. As I said, I went on one on Sunday, and that was technically work, but I had like my actual work night out, like with Aquarius, coming up on Tuesday, and I'm going out tomorrow night. Is tomorrow Saturday? Tomorrow is Saturday. I'm going out tomorrow night with a big group of girls for a Christmas night out. So Christmas night outs are all a go. And I thought there's nothing more relevant to discuss today than Christmas nights out. Christmas nights out, so that's an absolute tongue twister. Christmas nights out, I think, are some of the craziest, wildest, most feral nights out. Because especially in a work sense, right? Like in a work sense, you see your colleagues in work, you see them in a professional setting, you know, the wildest you'll go is maybe going for lunch with them, like seeing what they get at Greg's. Do you get a sausage roll or do you get a steak bake? That's really as wild as your relationship with your colleagues would go. But on a Christmas night out, when there's normally free alcohol involved, shit hits the fan. It goes fucking crazy. I certainly have had my fair share of wild Christmas nights out, unfortunately. So, of course, I'm going to tell you those stories, and then we're going to hop on over to McGanno's mailbox. That was my own jingle I've made there. To see what you guys have to tell us on the Christmas night out front. So without further ado, let's get ho into it. Okay, so this one, we're going back a few years. I'm going to try and not mention the actual workplaces just to save myself the embarrassment, but this is quite a long time ago, right? One of my earlier jobs, and at this moment in time I worked with two of my really good friends. I'm actually going out with them tomorrow night on our Christmas night out, so it was so fun. Like, picture me, young girl, I'm a teenager, you know, I don't really give a shit about my work, no offence, but it's just my Saturday job or Sunday job, or actually Saturday, Sunday, Monday job is what it was. You know, I work with my two friends. It's good fun when I'm in work, like I just chat to them the whole time. Good vibes. So our Christmas night out rolls around, and I was so excited, obviously, because I'm like, first of all, Christmas night outs are always fun, but I do work with two of my friends, so really this is just like a friends night out for free. What's not to love? So the night rolls around, and we go to one of my friends' houses, one of the two girls, for pre-drinks and to get ready. So we're getting ready, we're tanning loads of drinks. By the time we're actually going out, we are obviously quite drunk. Now this night, I'll never forget what I looked like. Again, here's the long-term memory. At this moment in time, I had, like, if you were around in this era, then you're an OG. Thanks. But I had like silver hair. I wore this white two-piece. I had khaki green heels on. And the most important part of the look was this bright purple. I mean violet. I mean, like, have you seen Fanta Grape? Like the juice Fanta Grape? That colour of lipstick. I don't know what possessed me to wear that, but I wore it, and I wore it with my chest. I wore it with confidence. It's not giving Christmas, it's actually giving Halloween. But anyway, I put on my bright purple lipstick and headed on out. So we get to, our night out was actually in a nightclub, which is quite unusual for a work night out. Normally they're in like a hotel, or like a hotel. Any other night out I've been on is always in a hotel, but this was genuinely in a nightclub in Glasgow. It's actually now shut down, but it was in a nightclub, and I'm also underage, so I have a fake ID, so I'm rocking up literally half cut, fake ID, purple lipstick on. It's probably at this point smeared all over my face. Anyway, we get in, I'm like, yes! Like, everyone in the work was like, everyone was young, but like older than us. Like, we were the youngest, we were all underage, and the the other people in the office, not the office, it wasn't an office, the other people in the workplace were like in their 20s. So it was a good vibe. We were all like of similar ages, had similar interests, you know, we all wanted to go out and have a dance. So I get in, I'm like, yes, you know, the feeling when you get in somewhere when you're underage, like cheat the bouncers. Haha. Anyway, we get in and we're having fun. We're dancing. Yeah, it's good. Drinks are flowing. I am definitely too drunk to be drinking anything, but it didn't stop me. Now, when I worked in this place, I was single as well. I'm putting that out there. I was single and I worked alongside this boy, right, who I loved. I seen him as a brother. We had a very brother and sister like relationship. Like, we'd take the piss out of each other. Like, we'd have lots of fun. Like, we always worked on a Sunday together, and it made the shift go really fast. Like, I thought he was great. I thought he was really funny. That was it. Categorically, that was it. I'm not meaning this in a bad way. He certainly wasn't bad to look at, but like, I never looked at him and thought, oh, I like him or I fancy him. Like, I genuinely looked at him as a brother. Not this night. You know, one too many vodka Red Bulls. Vodka Red Bull, when you actually think about that, how can you drink that all night long and not expect any bad repercussions? And I have IBS. That shit is so bad for me. Anyway, that's what I was drinking. And I really don't know how the ball got rolling with him. But the ball got rolling and it got rolling fast. And before I know it, all night, full scale, sloppy, drunk kissing in front of everyone I work with is watching us, and we're all over each other like a hot rash. I've got that bright purple lipstick all over his face. Oh my God, like, actually, that is so, I really don't like, I like public affection as in like holding hands. That's really as far as I'll go, or a wee hand round the shoulder. Kissing someone in front of people makes my skin crawl. Like, that's so embarrassing. Never mind kissing your colleague in front of all your colleagues. The whole staff, the whole team was on this night out in this booth watching us kiss. And it's like, I must have thought we were the only people in the room. Anyway, then the night comes to an end. I am absolutely gone at this point, and we go and stay overnight at my other friend. So we went to one friend's for pre-drinks and we stayed at the other friend's house. This was my first time ever meeting my other friend's mum. Talk about bad first impressions. I literally can't even hold my head up. I'm being sick all down myself. I had to get manhandles into my pajamas. Like, I'm past the point of getting that skirt and top off. They're literally having to strip me naked, her poor mum, strip me naked, get me into pajamas, and I got put to sleep next to a sick bucket. So yeah, that was good. This was a Saturday night, and remember I told you I worked Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Sunday rolls around and I have work. I'm like, oh my God, how on earth am I going to go to work? I'm literally dying. And then I also realised, oh my God, the boy, we work Sundays together. So I was like, I need to go and face him today in front of everyone. So I'm like walking into work. The anxiety is ripping through me. Like, this is also very out of character for me. Like, I genuinely could count the people I've kissed in my lifetime on probably my 2 hands and 2 feet. Maybe 20 people. I wouldn't go any further than that. And I'm 26, you know? So this was really out of character for me, but they're all going to think this is what I'm like on a night out. So I walk into work and I was like, surely, in my head, I'm like, surely no one's going to mention it. Like, they're all a wee bit older than me. Like, they'll be more mature. Like, nobody's going to say a word. I walk in and everyone's like, how are you? Like, call me all these like funny names about like kissing people, whatever. They're like, oh, if your lips recovered from last night. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Get to the cash desk. I'm like, all right, to the boy. what the fuck was that all about? But that was it. We did actually move past it, and we never ever spoke about it. And that was the end of that whole fiasco. But work night out, kissing the person you work next to in front of the whole work, yeah, awkward, embarrassing. Wouldn't recommend. My next Christmas night out that painfully sticks out to me, unfortunately, I'm now a corporate girly. I'm working in the corporate world. This is my first, I mean, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but anyway, this is my first big girl job. So contrary to the last, am I using that word right? Because I use it all the time now. Unlike the last night out that I went on that was in the nightclub, this wasn't in a hotel. This was in it's not really a nightclub, but anyway, it was a situation where it was like a 3-course meal, you know, there's drink on the table, it's that kind of vibe. So I rock up to my first ever corporate work night out, and this workplace is different in the sense there's all ages. Like, I was the youngest, and then there was like people up into their 60s. I mean, I didn't ID anyone, but I'm pretty sure that's the kind of age we were dealing with. So it was a broad spread of different people. So unlike, you know, the last night out where it was get as drunk as you want and get up and dance, this one's a bit more civilised, or should have been a bit more civilised. So we rock up and I take my seat and it's Christmas dinner. Unpopular opinion, I actually don't really like Christmas dinner. Like, I don't get why people get so excited over it. You know, like, people put up photos and like all these emojis as if it's like the best thing they've ever had. Like, I simply don't really get it. I don't mind Christmas dinner, and like, I will eat it now, but like, thank God you only get that once a year, because I couldn't be arsed with that anymore. Anyway, at this point in my life, I didn't like Christmas dinner. I was a really fussy eater. So all I ate was you get like a little tiny roll on your plate. That's all I had. And I thought, yeah, sure, that'll do me. Now, again, at this point in time, I had never drank wine. And even now, in my mature age of 26, I do love a glass of wine, but I would only drink white or rosé. I would never go near a glass of red wine with a barge pole. However, this night, there was literal, not even cups, I'm talking vases. Like, these things should have had a flower bouquet in them, not wine. These huge, like, jugs all over the table of red wine, right? And I'm like, well, if that's on the table, that's what I'm going to need to drink. So I have some red wine. It's not for me. The taste buds don't love the red wine, but I'm drinking it, and I'm obviously getting really drunk. I've not ate anything. I'm just drinking loads of wine. I honestly have not very many memories of this night at all, but I know that at some point, it was in Hillhead Book Club. If you're from Glasgow, you'll know what I mean. And there's a big staircase. At one point, I went tumbling down the stairs, like literally roly-poly-oly, Humpty Dumpty fell down the stairs. Did he fall down the stairs? He fell off a wall. But I basically was Humpty Dumpty rolling down, and I think the site manager who was the site manager of this big company, right? Like, I really had never spoke to her before. There was no need for me to speak to her before, but she was on this night out, and I think after she seen me fall down the stairs, she was like, "You should probably go home." And I took such offence, and apparently, because I don't remember saying this, I told her to fuck off. Site manager, I literally said fuck off. So that was obviously bad. So my dad and wee brother picked me up, I'm sure, and this night I think this is the night they then took me to McDonald's. My dad was like, "You're so drunk, like, you shouldn't be this drunk." So he takes me from McDonald's, because I've then told him, look, I didn't eat my dinner, that's why I'm in this state. It wasn't the 10,000 glasses of red wine, it's because I didn't like my turkey. So he's like, right, I'm taking you to McDonald's, and he got me like 6 chicken nugget meal, whatever. And I'm in the front, my little brother's in the back, and I'm still young at this point, so my brother's even younger. He's obviously thinking, like, never really seen his sister in a state, or nah, he probably did. I was going to say he's never seen me like that, but he definitely had. But this was one of my worst nights, so he's probably like, what the fuck? So my dad gets me this 6 chicken nugget meal, and he said I opened it, like, you know, it's in that little sort of carton. Normally what I would do is open it, and you'd have your 6 chicken nuggets on one side, and then you'd pour the chips on the other side, and it makes a sort of makeshift plate. So that's obviously what I was intending on doing. But as I've opened it, and as the scent of the 6 chicken nuggets has hit my nostrils, it has just hit the gag reflexes, and I have been sick into the chicken nuggets. So I'm sick into where normally I'd put my chips. My dad's at that. Aye, that's not what you're meant to do with them. Oh, he's phoning me. Hi, Dad.
Hey, you trying to get me?
Yeah, I did. I'm actually recording my podcast right now, and I was wondering if I could jog your memory. Do you remember that time when I worked at and you had to pick me up from Hillhead Book Club?
Oh. Yes, when you were at Slightly Tipsy. Yes.
I was just wondering what your memories were of that night.
All right. Well, obviously, I came up by his road to get you, and you were on the wrong side of the road. Remember, with 2 members of staff, a boy with a beard, I think, somebody else, carrying you down the road. And I had to come across Buyers Road to get you and carry you the other side of Buyers Road and put you in the car. You were a bit lustful there. I think somebody must have spiked your drink.
Exactly, Dad. I'm so glad that you know that would never be my fault.
Drinker.
No.
But no, you were certainly miraculous, yes.
And it was that the night I was sick in the chicken nuggets?
Yes, I'm sure it was. You were, I'm quite sure it was. Did I not take you through? You wanted to get chicken out and I went through Govan or something?
Yeah, and I opened the carton and then I was sick on them.
You decided to add juice to the nuggets. I'm sure all the staff were quite concerned about you because the state you were in by that time. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Quiet lad, to be quiet mouse. He's not so quiet.
Well,
that's a few years ago now. Huh?
it was a long time ago. I would never do that at this age.
What, be sick in your nuggets or get drunk?
Oh, well, I knew you'd remember that story.
Oh, I remember that, darling. My memory's not good, but for certain things it's quite fresh. Especially when it's my girl.
Oh, well, thanks for saving me as always.
I think there's a wee plaque up on Byers Road. Here fell Megan.
Oh, well. Okay, I'll let you get back to work.
All right, darling. All right.
Okay, love you. Bye.
You too. Bye.
So, yes, I was sick in my chicken nuggets that night. I'm also pretty sure when I got out the car in the driveway, my dad's like trying to clean up the chicken nuggets that I've just been sick over, and Paul, my brother's trying to unlock the door, but he wasn't quick enough, and I'm pretty sure I was sick down the front door as well, and then they had to drag me upstairs. Anyway, that was that night, and then so this was like again the Saturday. I got to work on the Monday, and everyone's like, you know, like it's a huge office, right? So everyone's like, oh, when I walk in, I'm full of the fear again, common theme. I'm walking in, and it's like rows and rows and rows of desks, right? So the door's like here, and my desk is honestly about 40 rows up. So I have to do the walk of shame down every single person in the office. I'm like the second row from the back. I'm walking, everyone's like, oh, like I can see them all like pausing their calls just to make it, oh, there she is. Like, and I got in, and the guy I sat next to was like, I'm surprised you've showed your face. And I was like, showed my face? I'm here for my shift to make my living. And he was like, oh, and then I got called into the office by the site manager, and she asked me to explain why I told her to fuck off. So that was that. I swear I'm actually not a bad person. And on the topic of my upcoming work night out, which is on Tuesday with Aquarius, that reminds me of one more Christmas night out story. This goes, sorry, I have such a dry mouth today. I think it's because I've had an energy drink and a coffee. Look, my new Stanley Cup matches McGanna's Mail, and I did copy Alan in here. Oh yeah, so a couple of years ago, this must have been, I really need to hide that watch. This must have been two or 3 years ago, and I had just joined Aquarius at the time. Like I literally had joined Aquarius like a week before this night out. So it's a Christmas night out. They're like, obviously come, like it must be so nice. You meet the whole team, yada yada yada. And I was like, this was going to be the photo I posted to say I'm with Aquarius now, right? So I wore this crazy dress. If you're a video watcher, I will attach a photo here. Very crazy, nothing discreet or normal about this dress, right? This big purple tulle, like layer upon layer dress, like honestly it formed a huge big circle around me, like you had to clear the space if I was going to get through. So I wore this dress, go on this night out, and bearing in mind I'm meeting a lot of these people really for the first time, or like I've met them before at events, but this is the first time I'm spending like quality time with them, and this is me letting them know that I'm going to be part of the team now. So wanting to set a good impression. I don't think I set a bad impression, I really don't. I think I had lots of fun, and you know, lots of laughs were provided. But basically we had the night out, and then afterwards some of us went out to a club in Glasgow to continue the party, and we done that, and then the night comes to an end, and I don't know, I can remember the video footage, but I don't know who had it or where it would be to try and find it, I'm afraid. But there was video footage of basically the end of the night, the bouncer's like, right, everyone out, like, you know, the lights are on, home time, it's 3 in the morning, get up the road. The bouncer wants to go up the road and we're loitering about. But there's this video of me like saying to the bouncer, like, okay, I'm gonna, you know that like trust challenge where you like put your hands like this and you just like fall, like literally fall back. I'm like, I'm gonna do that, so catch me. And he's like, no, don't. And I'm like, oh, too late. And I'm literally like falling into this bouncer's arms. I can't tell you how much this guy does not want to talk to me or to catch me or do any sort of challenge with me. I'm just being so annoying. Like, why am I being like that? Anyway, I'm far too drunk to go home, I believe. So this night, 2 of the girls from the agency were staying in a hotel because both of the girls didn't live in Glasgow at this moment in time. So they had booked a hotel for the night. You know, they're having a cute little bestie sleepover night. And who's there to impose? Me. So I'm like, well, whether you like it or not, you have me for the evening. So we must get back to the hotel, and it's very nice of them to let me stay over. I don't really remember the whole getting home phase, but what I do remember is waking up, and like my body clock just wakes me up really early in the morning. Like no matter how late I went to bed, crack of dawn, I'm up, right? So I wake up, and I was like, oh my God, like what the hell? So the first thing I see, I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm still wearing this dress, this crazy dress. And then I'm like, what am I, like, I'm trying to come to my surroundings. I realise I'm on a floor and I can see a bed and I can see the 2 girls sleeping in it. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'm on the floor. And then I lift my head up and some things never change. What am I using as a pillow? Chicken nuggets. We must have got a McDonald's on the way home, but I've been too drunk to eat it. And I literally was sleeping on my chicken nuggets like it was a pillow. Like, what the actual fuck? So then I wake up and I'm like, girls, sorry. And they were like, oh my God, you literally came in, slid down the door and just fell asleep there. Like you were like a dead weight. Like we couldn't move you. Like you looked pretty comfy. So like we've obviously just went to bed. I was like, fair. So fair enough. Like I've already crashed your sleepover. The last thing you need to do is start manhandling me up to the bed. So then we wake up and I was like, fuck, I don't have any clothes. Like I just have this dress. And it's now like a Friday morning in town. You know, people are up walking to work, corporate people here, there, way out doing important things in the world. I walked about town in that dress. I went to Starbucks in this dress. I will attach photos and videos. And like, what? My makeup, eyelashes half off, half on, hair a riot in this literal tulle dress. If you don't watch the video, you need to just to understand how stupidly crazy it was for me to be kicking about in this dress. Absolutely wild. I'm pretty sure I actually said that night I wasn't drinking as well, so that didn't go to plan. So that's enough of my Christmas night out stories. I mean, I'd love to report more. I'm sure I'll probably have more to report after Tuesdays. But now let's hear about your stories. We're going to head over to the one and only MWAH mailbox. La da da. And we have the rollercoaster phone. Remember, I have been doing sort of weekly, like, tell me this, tell me that. And I always put the little WhatsApp number for McGanno's Mail on the Instagram account for @rollercoasting podcast. So be sure to be following @rollercoasting podcast. You can have access to the number at all times. It will be on screen now. But please be following me on there because that's where I'll be asking for specific details. So if you want to be interacting with the podcast, that's where you've got to be. Anyway, let's see what McGanno's mailbox has to offer on the ho nights out. So, went on a work night out to London 2 years ago. Oh, looks like me. Started drinking at 10 a.m. on the train down. Was already steaming when I arrived in London. My boss carried my wee suitcase for me as we walked to our hotel. We dropped our bags and met in reception to go for pre-drinks. Pre-drinks, honey, I think you had your pre-drinks hours ago. An unknown number phones me. It's one of my biggest clients and they are raging, screaming and shouting and swearing down the phone. I had to try and placate them, but I was steaming. My boss had to also take the phone to try and calm them down. I apologised to them for what had happened, but explained that as it was a weekend and we were all on our work night out, nothing could be done about it until Monday morning. Exactly. Let us live. To which they responded, I bet you're all sitting there fucking laughing at us. I felt like saying, I'm almost crying actually. Oh, bless you. So night started off terribly as I knew I'd lose my biggest client on the Monday and a huge chunk of my commission. Oh gosh, that is a terrible start to the night out. We then went to a pub and watched the World Cup. Then I was completely steaming, so went and ate a Domino's pizza on my own to try and sober up. I always do that. When I'm too drunk, I'm like, I know I need to eat. So I'll literally just disappear, go get a kebab, sit on my own, recollect my thoughts, eat my kebab. So I feel you there, sister. Went to my hotel room and did my makeup steaming. Jeez, the makeup wasn't even done yet. Christ. Then I went downstairs and realised I'd forgotten my horns in brackets. This was a costume party. Went back for them and had yet another drink in reception. One of my colleagues had went missing and it turned out he had fallen asleep in his room. So my boss went up to get him and a colleague had to help him sort out his costume. We walked to the party to find it was a free bar. It always is on a work night out. So the nonsense continued, talked utter shit to other regional teams, ate some canopies, and remember one being disgusting, lost the rest of my team, went to the bar and got refused service. However, they then started to serve me again later. Don't remember much else from the party until the walk home. Decided to walk back to the hotel with no shoes on. Done that. Left my horns in the pub. Staggered back to the hotel and then we all sat drinking in the reception. Next came the room parties. 3 of them. 3 room parties in one night. Went to one and found someone from my team. We had lost him for 3 hours. We were all sat drinking and talking in the room. Ended up moving to a few different rooms. And in the final room, someone decided to smoke a cigarette. This set off the alarm in the room and 2 members of staff came up. They charged a member of staff £120 on the spot and told them that no one would be able to stay in that room for 6 months. Now, 6 months for one cigarette? That's dramatic. For 6 months now, and they were lucky it wasn't more that they were getting charged. They also said the maximum amount of people allowed in any room was 2, and that if we didn't all go back to our rooms immediately, our whole party would be ejected from the hotel. Ejected? I'm picturing like, you know, on a wee spring, it's like, boing, like out you go. The whole staff, boing, out you go. I freaked out at this point and ran to my room. It was also 6 a.m. I mean, it probably was time to call it a night or a day, I suppose. And I was up at 8 for my train home. Christ. So I went to my room and got some sleep, 1 hour and a half. Some of my colleagues went back down to the reception and resumed drinking. Jesus Christ, where do you work? One of the colleagues had fell asleep in a stairwell. I thought I was going to die when I woke up still drunk 2 hours later. Met one of my colleagues and we went to try and get another colleague. We knocked and couldn't wake him up, and then we had to leave him in London. Oh my God. When we got on our train, we were nearly sick on it and had a horrific journey back to Glasgow. When we were passing Carlisle, my colleague texted me, oh my God, why the fuck am I still in London? Total shambles, but fantastic memories. Had a 2-day hangover, think I was drowning in my sorrows. Snapchat memories popped up about it today, and on Sunday night I changed my nail polish on my toenails only to discover mud under my nails from me walking home. Also, I had 2 shards of glass in my foot. Never again. Now, that reminds me of another Christmas night out, actually, in another job. We had been, this was in a hotel, and again, it was Christmas dinner, free wine set up, and I had this white, I'll find a picture of it, I had this white, long, is that called a jumpsuit? Jumpsuit. And I had pink hair at the time, actually. Do you know the pink hair was quite cute? I mean, I looked kind of crazy, but it was kind of cute. So I had my pink hair and I had this white jumpsuit on. It was given Christmas snow angel, right? And it was really long. I remember it being really long, traipsing over my heels. And I'm a tall gal, so who was this meant to fit? The BFG? Anyway, we go to the Christmas night out and I eat my dinner this time. My palate is maturing. I can eat turkey now. I can eat pigs and blankets. Now them, I love. I'd eat them all year round. So we're drinking the free drink, we're up dancing, and it was in a hotel, so it was, the dance floor was like a floor, obviously, but then there was a stage area, and on the stage, they just had like, I don't know, a PowerPoint or something, I can't really remember, but the stage was obviously for the members of staff who were putting on this night, not for me, a member of staff, on a work night out. But anyway, me and this one guy who worked together, like, I totally didn't know this guy. Let's call him Stuart. His name wasn't Stuart. I didn't know Stuart had this side to him. Like, in work, Stuart was quite serious. Like, you know, he done everything by the book. Like, he didn't fool around. on this night out, this is what I'm saying, you never know what your colleagues are really like till you go on a night out with them. He was crazy. He was so much fun. He was, going for it with the dance moves. So me and him somehow ended up on stage and we were dancing, and like there was an announcement like, get off the stage, like you're not allowed to be on stage. So we come down. But then, it's when someone tells you you're not allowed to do something that you want to do even more. So I was like, I need to get back on stage. So I ran back on stage. I was dancing again, and there's another announcement like, get off the stage. So instead of taking the stairs, and at this point I took off my heels, by the way, because dancing, it's very tiring on the foot, especially on the ball of your foot. So I'm in my bare feet and I'm up on the stage, and when they shouted again, I got a fright, so I jumped off the stage instead of walking down the stairs. What did I land on? A glass. So the glass shattered underneath my foot, and then I had glass in my foot. My gorgeous snow angel jumpsuit is covered in blood because it's so long, so it's like traipsing along. Honestly, it looks like what's that movie? It's called like Carrie or something. It's a Halloween one, and like she's on her prom and then she gets covered in blood. That was me at a Christmas night out party. So I was like, oh my God, I can't walk. I was like, no, like I'm not good with blood and stuff. So then people from my work like had me over their shoulders, and they lifted me out to the reception, and they said to reception, look, she's jumped on a glass, she's gonna need to go to hospital, there's glass in her foot. So then the reception phoned an ambulance. I mean, quite dramatic, right? But they phoned an ambulance to come and get me, and they put me down on a seat, and it was a chaise longue. Right, so you know how and how fancy chaise longue. The back of a chaise longue is like is risen, and then the actual seat, like if I was behind this seat and I sat like that, you wouldn't be able to see me, right? So I'm on the chaise longue, and it's now like midnight, right? So I'm quite tired. I've drank a lot of wine. It makes me sleepy. So I have laid down and I've just fell asleep behind this chaise longue, and apparently the ambulance came. And they were like looking for me, and they didn't see me, so they just left. They thought like I obviously had went home because no one could see me behind this chaise longue. So then a couple of hours must have passed, and someone who works in the hotel come up, and they were like shook my shoulder, and they were like, excuse me, like, do you want to go up to your room? Because this is in a hotel. They're like, do you want to go up to your room if you're sleeping? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not staying here. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why am I asleep on this chaise longue? And I looked down at my foot. I was like, ow! I was like, oh my God, what's happened? I was like, wait, I think an ambulance was supposed to come and get me. The ambulance were well gone. They're on probably much more serious matters. So what did I do in this instance? I phoned my dad. And I was like, Dad, don't panic, but I need to go to hospital. I have jumped on a glass. And he's like, what? Like, what do you mean you've jumped on a glass? Raging. So he picks me up, takes me to A&E. We get into A&E, and it's a Saturday night, Christmas time. A&E's bouncing, like the actual after party is in A&E. So we're in A&E, and then in walks one of my friends, like one of my friends who's a guy. He walks in, his hand is blown up like a balloon. I was like, oh my God, not seen you in ages. Like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, been in a fight. So he's sitting there with his big hand. I've got my foot like that. And it's like a 5-hour wait or something to be seen. And I was like, oh God, I've dead peckish now. My dad goes away, gets me and my now friend at McDonald's, comes back, we're eating our McDonald's. This is great. I'm having such a fun time in A&E. Then I get taken after waiting like 5 hours. It's now like early hours of the morning. My dad is shattered, poor guy. And at this point in time, I have a huge needle phobia. Like, this is pre-tattoos. This is pre-lip filler. Like, I'm absolutely terrified of needles. And they were like, we're just going to numb your foot so that we can get the glass out and stitch it up. And I was like, no. Like, I'm not doing that tonight. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. And he's like, it's going to be a lot more sore if you don't let me numb it. I'm screaming and crying. I'm like kicking my legs so the doctor can't hold them. My dad's like grabbing my calf, and he's like, right, just do it, doctor. And he holds me down. Honestly, this was an ordeal for a really long time. And my dad's at that, see you better never have a baby. You can't handle pain. And that was that. My wee foot was sewn up. And that was at Christmas night. So, yes, Christmas nights often lead to glass in the foot. And sometimes a trip to hospital. Forgot about that story? Oh, we've got another injury one here. We've got, hey Megan, love your podcast. Oh, and been at both of your live shows. Thank you. That really means a lot. My craziest Christmas night out story is the fact I was trying to Irish dance. Again, I fucking do this. I have never been to Irish dancing in my life, but Irish dance at my big cousin's wedding in Sorrento last year. I was a bridesmaid, and I Irish dance so hard. Like, I took the whole dance floor in an Irish dance. Everyone's filming it. Maybe I could get that, actually. I think my dad filmed it. I'm doing this Irish dancing, which, by the way, I have never learned in my life. This is purely just an impersonation of Irish dancing. I Irish danced so hard that I couldn't stop being sick the rest of the night because my stomach was so upset from all the jigging. So this girl says she was trying to Irish dance on her work's Christmas night out, and she fell on an uneven dance floor and broke my wrist in 2 places. I was in a plaster cast for the next 4 weeks. At least my boss was with me and she knows wasn't joking. Definitely not outrageous, but it is funny. I mean, it depends how you look at it. That sounds very painful. As I said, injuries, they happen on Christmas nights out. The Irish dancing is something that really happens to me. As soon as I've had a drink, you know, it's like I have to get in touch with my Irish heritage, because I've told everyone I'm half Irish. I'm only a quarter. I need to let go of that other quarter. I'm in fact a quarter Irish, but it's like it just comes over me in the moment, and I must Irish jig the night away. Work's Christmas night out drama. In brackets, a good few years ago now, but it still traumatises me. Oh, geez. We must know more. I just got home from a night out around 2 a.m, pretty pissed, and got a messenger notification from a much older guy I worked with who was also on the night out, declaring his undenying love for me and telling me he's obsessed with me for years and spends a crazy amount of time thinking about me, and he can't see me as just another colleague because I'm so much more than that to him. Punchline, he's married with 2 kids. Oh, shit. He told me that he'd been trying to get me alone for the full night, as he'd rather tell me to my face. Thank fuck it had to resort to a message. Can you imagine the awkwardness? Let's just say the atmosphere in the office on the Monday morning was frosty as fuck, as were the months that followed, considering I sat back to back with him. Shit. Thank fuck he finally seen sense and left the company. Oh. That is, again, this is another thing. I actually had a similar situation. He wasn't married with 2 kids, but I had a sort of similar situation. And why don't mix, what did he say? Don't mix pleasure with business. Is that the word? You shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't kiss people you work with from experience. You shouldn't confess your love, especially if you've got a wife and kids at home. Very inconsiderate, mister. Yeah. I told you, work's night out, they bring out the craziest sides in people. Right, let's finish up with one more. One of my friends was speaking to / seeing one of the chefs at work at the time. You know, someone I've never met is a chef. I don't know any chefs. Chef is apparently one of the most stressful jobs you can have. I think a dentist is as well. Both very different, but both very essential, I suppose. You need your teeth to eat. They link. The chef had, I wonder if this is, the chef had wife and kids at home. Is your chef in the last message? He had told my friend that they weren't together anymore, but nobody really knew what was the truth was with him. I'm pretty sure they were still sleeping in the same bed, him and his wife, and definitely still living both at home with their kids. Oh God, that's a shame. He was about 10 years older than us, about 35, and we were 25. Only me and a few others at work knew about the 2 of them. Okay, so only you and a few other people knew that your friend and the chef are speaking. Okay. We work for a very big company with lots of different departments. So it is a big Christmas party we have with a free bar. Yeah. Messy. They both got a bit too drunk at the party and started getting very close on the dance floor. And it was pretty obvious to everyone what was going on. Oh. Then one of the girls from HR comes over to my friend after she was at the bar and said, "Do you want to declare your relationship to make it official, to make it work official? It was awful, just wanted the ground to swallow me up. What is it with Christmas parties? They even snogged in front of God knows how many people." Well, they're messy. They're very messy. As I said, you should not mix. You shouldn't mix these things together. One thing I'm quite grateful for now is, like, for example, my night out with the Aquarius girls on Tuesday, we're all girls, like, of the same age, you know, like, things honestly just can't get that messy. None of this chefs with 2 kids at home firing into you, like, no thanks. Just you get back to making your eggs Benedict and start being a better dad. How about you do that? Anyway, on that note, I hope everyone has wonderful Christmas nights out if you're going out to celebrate, whether it's with your friends, whether if it's with your work, and take it from me, if you do anything you will later regret, someone else will the next year. That's what I've always told myself. Yes, this year, you know, back in my days of really fucking it at the Christmas parties, I thought, okay, this year I have fucked it and I'm the idiot this year, but next year someone else will be the idiot, and the baton will be passed on. And you can always leave your work if it's really that bad. So I hope we all have wonderful times out celebrating. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Remember, you can watch full-length videos on YouTube. Please subscribe to Rollercoaster Podcast YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up, give me some comments. You can also follow at Rollercoaster Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram and TikTok to see little short clips and get involved with future episodes. So please do that. And thank you so much for being here. It means the world. Love you all so much. Ho, ho, ho.
I'm not gonna wake up